It's 1,000 years before the dragons return to Skyrim. 800 years before the fall of the Septim dynasty, our story is set during the Second Era, a time of great political instability known as the Interregnum. Tamriel is at war and the fight is fiercest at its heart, Cyrodiil, the home of the Imperial Empire. The varied races have formed factions and they fight both each other and the forces of the Empire for control of the Imperial City. The Daedric Prince of Domination and Enslavement Molag Bal schemes to take advantage of this instability, and using his dark anchors he plans to pull all of Tamriel into Coldharbour, his realm in Oblivion. As a result, Daedra have begun to appear in greater numbers than has ever been seen before all across the world. The Tharn family, rulers of Cyrodiil and leaders of the fledgling Imperial Empire, have struck a pact with Moni Marco, the King of Worms. The Imperial forces are weak when compared to those of the other factions, and they've agreed to supplement their army by resurrecting their dead. But Moni Marco has his own goals. He conspires with Molag Bal to take over all of the realm. You are the Soulless One. Molag Bal has been taking prisoners and stealing their souls, but there exists an ancient prophecy within the Elder Scrolls that states that the Soulless One will thwart Molag Bal's plans and save Tamriel, and in the process regain their lost soul. Sounds pretty good to me, but creating an MMO is very different from creating a single player experience, and a number of things that are possible in a single player experience are not even doable in an MMO. For example, in the story of Skyrim, you're the Dragonborn. You're this great hero. However, if the story was moved to an MMO, there would be thousands of Dragonborn, all having done the same heroic things. The idea of the Soulless One is certainly clever, as any player character you meet can fit the description without actually being the Soulless One. This gives a lore-fitting reason as to why there are hundreds of other players in your game, but why you're still the hero. It also explains why you can resurrect in this game but not in the others. The main story is also split completely from the rest of the game into a single player experience. This is how they made the game so you feel like a hero. It's a nice combination of ideas, however I personally don't get the urge to have a single player experience in an MMO. Instancing off the main story works okay, some recent MMOs have had great success with it, but they also did include a co-op within that. Making it a purely single player story seems a bit extreme. It does mean that potentially the main story of the game could be great, set in instances without the distractions the previous games always had. A good traditional RPG story could be crafted, and if it's good enough, perhaps I could forgive the lack of co-op. I personally have never found the main story of any Elder Scrolls game to be the most compelling part, and I wonder now why they're putting so much effort into the story for an MMO. The series has always had okay stories, but it's the rest of the game that sells it, all the side quests and dungeons and making your own story. And that's what MMOs are all about. To most people it's not the main story they remember from an MMO, it's the spontaneous player driven situations that stick with you. The story sounds solid, there's some nice nostalgia kick in there with Moni Marco who we've met before, and I appreciate the thought behind the idea of the Soulless One. The Elder Scrolls lore is pretty great and with each game it gets more and more added. My worry on the single player campaigns come from thinking about the main story of the previous games, which has never been that compelling or strong. However, if they're able to tell a great tale, I think this could be a great part and a fantastic backbone for the final game. I've been Aski and you've been watching Nerf TV. Subscribe for future Elder Scrolls videos, as well as a look at loads of other gaming content. Thanks for watching.